Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers. The Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwallahs. He builds brands for one of India's fastest growing liquor companies, Ashutosh Rajput, Chief Operating Officer at Alcobrew'S Distilleries. He is an AlcoBev Industry veteran with over 2 decades of diverse experience across sales, marketing and general management. But Ashutosh began his professional journey selling soft drinks at Coca-Cola India. He eventually went on to hold key leadership roles at AlcoBev giants like Radico Khaitan and the Campari Group. At Alcobrew, he is instrumental in shaping product portfolios, launching premium offerings, and streamlining operations across diverse channels. He is our Brandwallah. You're watching the Brandwallahs. I am Krishnakumar and we are in conversation with Mr. Ashutosh Rajput, Chief Operating Officer of Alcobrew Distilleries Limited. Ashutosh, thank you so much for taking time out to speak to us here on the Brandwallahs. I'm going to begin by asking a very simple question. How do you build a liquor brand in India for the Indian market, which is overwhelmingly dominated by either global brands, iconic global brands, or legacy Indian brands? How do you do it afresh now?
We are a young company. We started our branded business only in 2012. So we are like a small company with the big elephants in the room. See, brands are like humans. A liquor bottle is like our body, and the liquid inside is like the soul. So you need to focus on both pieces, how the person looks like, what they wear, how they present themselves. Same way, the bottle, when it sits on the shelf, it needs to look attractive, it needs to look appealing. So there's a lot of art and science which goes behind how you create that appealing product. But the more, that appeal brings the consumer one time to the product. But he or she keeps on coming again and again for what is there inside the bottle. So you need to focus more on what goes inside the bottle. So creating the liquid is the most difficult part actually.
Okay, so it's all about the product to begin with, isn't it?
So you can create a fantastic product or looking product, but unless it tastes good, you will not pick it up again. You will have it one time and that's the end of the story. Some people don't like smoky whiskies, right? Some people don't like peaty whiskey. So if the moment you taste it, you will say what I have just had. So you will never pick it up again. So that's where the whole challenge lies. How do you build that balance? And more importantly, how do you create that value proposition? See, because the liquid again is a cost. So how you make it a good liquid defines how much it's going to cost you. Though we have been, I must say, decently successful in creating brands over the last 12-13 years of our branded journey life. We started with Indian premium whiskey at that point of time called White and Blue. That after that we have moved a level above to a golfer shot whiskey. We evolved further to a golfer shot 18-hole whiskey, and then we have digressed into white spirits as well. We started One More vodka. Then recently we came out with a upgraded version of One More, which is called One More Next vodka. So it's been a decent journey for us in terms of brands that we have put in the market.
I'm curious to know, how do you segment the market and target brands specifically for a specific audience?
The problem here is that the consumer also is evolving continuously. So as a growing economy, you don't have standard demographics anymore. The demographics keep on shifting. The taste preferences, consumer profile keeps on shifting all the time. That makes it all the more difficult in terms of how do you target a particular segment of the consumer. Like I said, we are dancing with the elephants, so some instances those elephants define some of those segments. So we pick up what we think is a good growing segment or where we believe that the next growth is going to happen. So we currently have been chasing the segment defined by others, but I think as we go along, we are in the process of defining new segments for ourselves.
For now, do you target the rural audience more, or the urban audience more, or the urban audience more? How does it go? And more importantly, are you looking at targeting individual buyers, or people who buy it in bulk? How do you do it?
Anyone who's willing to drink alcohol, we target. The portfolio that we currently have is targeted more at a slightly more affluent population. That said, now we see that at least in the select markets that we target rigorously, even the rural customer has improved spending power. So some of these products that we initially were targeting at the urban, semi-urban, young consumer, we find that some of the rural people are quite interested in the same products and they are able to afford the same products. So that demarcation between whom you target with a product, whether it's urban, rural or semi-urban, I think that is slowly diminishing. So what you start off with obviously is the bigger pool size. So obviously that is young urban consumers sitting in the metros. But I think the trickle down effect is happening a lot faster for us, or for any brand for that matter, I think, across the categories.
We keep saying it's the Gen Z consumer that's difficult to capture, and because they have a short attention span. But we live in a short attention span world across the board. It's not just the Gen Zs. How do you get the attention of the consumer in the short attention span world?
I think it cuts both ways. About 20 years back, we had people who were very fixated with what they like, so they were not willing to try new things. Last 15-20 years, things have started to change when young people are more willing to experiment, try new things, and I think that gives opportunity for new brands, and that's where you see during this period more brands have entered the marketplace than maybe what happened prior to that. Now the challenge is that once they have tried your product, how do you ensure that they keep on coming back? And that's, I think, the challenge for any marketer, not only for us as a company or a brand, but I think that's for everyone, how you get stickiness from this consumer.
You're talking about communicating something in an environment where it's impossible to communicate anything as far as your product is concerned. So what exactly is the marketing strategy to begin with, and how do you do it?
We keep it simple. We do not try fancy stuff. We try to interact with the consumer at the point of purchase, whether it is the retail environment or in the on-premise environment. I think it makes a bigger and better impact and gets you better return for every marketing rupee that we spend on the brands. So whether it is in-pack consumer offers, whether it is putting up promoters or merchandisers on ground, working with the retailers in terms of visibility for the brand. The basics remain the same. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So you just need to remain in the consideration set of the consumer, and it's easier said than done because you are not the only guy doing that. There are about 20 odd other brands fighting for the same thing, but that's where the execution quality matters. So like I said, I believe that strategy is a commodity. So you can have, anyone can build a strategy, but how you execute is what makes difference between a successful and not so successful brand.
How are you using AI to build brand? to build a brand. How do you use it? Tell us in terms of tools that you use, specific tools that you use to build a brand.
Ideally, how I would like to use and how we use it are two, I think,
Fair enough.
different
Okay.
pieces.
First, tell us how you use it, and then you tell us how you would ideally like to use it.
So currently, how we use it is we work with agencies in terms of communication that we want to work on, rather than doing fancy shoots for the brands. I think things are undergoing a change in terms of you created using the artificial intelligence. So you don't need to go into fancy mountain ranges to put your product in the ice and get a nice picture. You can do it sitting on your computer now, and I think that's what we have been experimenting with in terms of defining the positioning and then create that visual for that positioning.
So for the visualization is where the AI comes in the most.
Correct. I think the idea is in terms of what the brand stands for, you can't leave it to AI to define what the brand stands for. I think the AI still has not reached that space. So you still need people like us, otherwise we'll not have these jobs if the brand, if AI starts to define even the positioning or what the brand should look like. So yeah, so we define that, and then once we give the brief to the agency that this is how the brand needs to look like, I think then they use AI to create those visuals. So that's where we currently are, but I think
ideally, where would you use AI?
Yeah, ideally no, it's not ideal, but yeah, AI can give you the head of the state holding a bottle and promoting that on the social media. AI has no limits that way. But yes, that's where the regulations part come in further. That in terms of how you further use the AI to build narrative around the alcoholic category brand.
Talk to us at this stage. What, according to you, is the big buzz in the world of advertising and marketing today?
I think AI is the big buzz in terms of how we can use AI more smartly to come out with campaigns which are more focused, more targeted, and which give you the best ROI for marketing monies that you're spending. That's again easier said than done, because again, what you need to, so it's like garbage in, garbage out. If you give wrong ideas, it will come out with stupid algorithms back to you. So the way to ensure what you get from the system is that you need to be clear in your mind in terms of what you want to achieve. And once you have that clarity, I think everything works out quite well.
What, according to you, is overhyped in the world of advertising and marketing?
A lot of things. There are a lot of things
So,
there.
Okay, fine, fair enough. If it's a lot of things, what all do you think are overhyped in the world of advertising and marketing, and hence are blah?
I think the one thing which came out quite strongly was the metaverse, where they tried to sell it as one place where the Gen Zs of the world were spending most of their time and interacting with the brands. But I think that never picked up in the way Meta wanted, or Meta advertised that this is how it's going to be. The other thing which I believe is that celebrity endorsements sometimes get overhyped, because sometimes the brands use celebrities quite loosely, because just because you have money does not mean that the celebrity and the brand personalities go together quite well.
Tell us, what is the one thing about your job that you love the most? The one thing that you every day wake up, the one reason why you wake up and come to work.
I can start drinking at 11. No one will question that why I'm drinking at 11. 11, yeah, because I can start tasting early in the morning. Oh, there's a new product we want to launch. Let's try it. See, because your palate is the keenest around that time, around noon time, just before you have your lunch. That's when you have the best palate to taste a product.
Oh.
Yeah. So the ideal time is to do it around 11, 11:30. So that's the best part of my job.
Okay, so ideal time to taste anything for anybody would be at 11 a.m. Is that what science says?
It's about that time, yes. See, because once you have had your meals,
your breakfast and
so your taste buds tend to get disoriented, so to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it takes that rest after the breakfast and then comes back in full force at 11 a.m. and that's where you taste the latest liquor available that you want to test in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best part of my job. No one will question that why you start drinking in the morning.
Let me ask you the other question then. What is the one thing about your job that you don't like, that you detest the most?
It's the same thing. If you end up tasting bad product, then there's a bad part of it. You at 11 a.m. imagine drinking a bad whiskey. So yeah, that's a bad part of it. Otherwise, I don't think I have any complaints with what I have done or whatever I do. It's fantastic. Because alcohol is a fantastic category. It has its
a challenging category.
It is, but once you are in it, then it's like you become that adrenaline junkie because there's never easy month.
Yeah.
There is always some excise related challenge. There is always some regulatory challenge. There is always some market challenge. It's never a straight line journey in this business.
But tell us, before doing this, you weren't doing this all your life, weren't you?
So I started with soft drinks and then graduated to hard drinks. That's how it's been.
Yeah, but they're two different worlds altogether, marketing and soft drinks.
But that's how you grow up. As a child, you start drinking soft drinks, and once you grow up, you start drinking beer and whiskey. That's what I have done in my work life as well. So I started with Coca-Cola and then onwards to alcohol.
So what changed for you as as somebody, as a marketer, from that to this?
It's a journey. I wouldn't say anything has changed because I've not noticed anything that has changed. Only piece is that, like I said, this is more fun. Here you get chances to create products. Soft drinks is more established brands. I used to work.
The product is already created for you.
It's there. You are selling the world's biggest soft drink. That's about it. The only piece you can do is how do you increase your reach, and that's the end of the job. In case of alcohol, consumer is continuously evolving. You're looking at someone who was drinking a 500 rupee product. After a few years, moves to a 1,000 rupee product. After a few years, moves to a 2,000 rupee product. So you need to continuously evolve with that consumer, and that's what happens only in this business. That there's a continuous evolution happening. Like I said, we did one more vodka a few years back, and then we came out with one more next, which is the higher variant of one more. Just because that consumer who's drinking the one more, once he has or she has a higher spending power, would look at something which is more premium. So you need to just keep on addressing that opportunity.
The one other thing I want to ask you is this: you are launching brands at a time when all these craft brands are emerging, all over the country, direct to consumer. Craft, could be craft gin or craft beer. Or craft rum for that matter. And they are popping up. Individual startups. Popping up left, right, and center. How much of a competition are they to you at this stage?
India is not one country when it comes to alcohol. We work like 34 different countries. So good luck to the startups who do craft products. Yes, it's good that they're experimenting and they're creating new avenues. But I think
it tells you that there's a market has opened up to that, isn't it?
Yes, but the challenge in this business is scalability. Unless you have scale, you cannot sustain for too long. That's the biggest challenge. So only brands which have been able to hit a certain scale, but most of them, if you see, have been directly, indirectly bought out by bigger companies. Otherwise, standalone, it's a tough journey.
But we're also having this conversation at a time when, Indian whiskies have gone on to win awards internationally. Indian whiskies are outselling, in some cases, Scotch whiskies in India. So that, made in India fervor has certainly been rising as far as the alcohol industry is concerned.
Well, absolutely. And we also...
As in Indians themselves preferring more, Indian-made liquor than over the global ones.
It's early days for me to make a judgment on that, but I think what bigger change is that people are trusting that made in India is a mark of quality. I think that's what the bigger change is. And not only Indians, but I think people outside India as well are now appreciating that, okay, this product is made in India. Yeah, it's a good product. So I think that's a big victory for our industry. You see Indian products in the retail shelves of UK, US. I think it's a testament that yes, Indian industry has arrived. It will take us some more time for it to become more broad-based, but I think we are certainly on the right path with made in India and quality products that come out of India.
And where do you see the future from here? What is your view of the road ahead?
We always have our Mount Everest to climb, and every time we reach the summit, the Mount Everest changes. It converts into a bigger Mount Everest. So yeah, we still have some way to go in terms of our distribution footprint expansion. We are not...
When you say we, you mean Alcobrew or the industry per se?
No, as company I'm saying right now. So Southern India has been a spot of opportunity for us. So we want to get into those places. We want to get into more premium spaces as we go along. So that's where we are. But I think as industry, again, you have craft products come in which create, I think, new taste profiles. They create at least awareness for what can be done. Whether you are able to leverage it as a company or a brand is a different story. But at least the consumer knows that, okay, there is a new taste profile which is there in the market and people test it out. That works quite well, and I think people are willing to spend more money, and that's where you see a lot of brands which are upgraded versions of what the original brands were. So I think this is where the industry is headed to, but we need lesser regulation. That's what we do.
And one fine day there will be that Indian-made liquor that becomes the top seller in a market outside of India, isn't it?
Yeah, so currently Indian whiskies are obviously the top sellers in the global sales rankings. But yes, so far their consumption is more in India. But I think for the Indian single malts, I would say about good 30-40% of whatever is produced is getting exported right now. And it is just defined or limited by how much can be produced at this point of time. So if we can produce more, I'm sure we can sell more globally as well.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Ashutosh, thank you so much for taking time out of the day.
It's been a pleasure, Krishna.